Hi everybody, this is Mr. Barry, and today I'm going to read to you Pollination Pals, Super Science by Jody Mangor. I'm going to skip over some text features like table of contents, labels, and glossaries, which you'll use to answer questions at the end, but I will read things like captions or text boxes. Pollinators. Do you like crunching into an apple? How about almonds? Cucumbers? If so, you can thank honeybees. Bees act as pollinators. They help many plants reproduce. To make a seed, the female part of the plant, called a pistil, needs pollen from the male part of the flower, called a stamen. This is how a bee gets the job done. It visits a flower and collects sticky nectar. Pollen from the male part of a flower sticks to the bee. The bee flies to another flower. The pollen rubs off. If the pollen lands on the female flower part, a seed can form. Sometimes a fruit, such as an apple or a cucumber, grows around the seed. I'm going to read the text box. Pollen power. Pollinators move from pollen from a male part of the flower to a female part. Sometimes this happens inside a single flower. Sometimes the male and female parts are in different flowers. Most pollinators are insects, but birds and other animals can be pollinators too. Many plants and pollinators adapt to each other. A flower's color and smell are important. So are its size and shape. These things help to attract certain pollinators. The caption says, flowers of the saguaro cactus can be pollinated by bats, woodpeckers, and insects. Moths land on flowers that smell strong and sweet. Red flowers attract different insects than purple flowers do. Birds use their long beaks to reach into deep flowers. Pollinators are rewarded. They get sweet nectar or pollen to eat. The text box says, one or many. Some pollinators visit many different types of plants. Others pollinate just one type of plant. The caption or label says, European peacock butterfly. Bees and other bugs. Most flowers are pollinated by insects that can fly. They can easily move from flower to flower. Honeybees are pollination superstars. They look for yellow, blue, and purple flowers. They move a lot of pollen around. They take some nectar and pollen back to their hives. Bees turn nectar into honey. They eat the pollen. Many of the crops we eat depend on honeybees for pollination. The text box says, barely a buzz. The United States has lost more than half of its honeybee colonies. Honeybees are dying. Scientists are trying to figure out why. Butterflies pick up less pollen than bees do, but they visit more red flowers. They can see red, bees can't. Butterflies also like orange, yellow, pink, and blue. They visit a lot of wildflowers. Moths are active at night. They visit white flowers that smell sweet. They drink a lot of nectar. They can carry pollen over long distances. Both moths and butterflies need to land before feeding. They can look for flowers with a landing area. The text box says, small in size, big in number. More than 200,000 species of insects are pollinators. This includes flies, beetles, wasps, ants, butterflies, moths, and bees. Flies and beetles like rotting meat and dung. Flowers that are pollinated by flies smell like these things. They are purple or brown. They do not make nectar, only pollen. The flies and beetles feed on the pollen. Ants love to eat nectar, but they can't fly. To get nectar, they crawl from flower to flower. They visit flowers low to the ground and close to the stem. The text box says, at a crawl. Ants are good nectar eaters, but they aren't the best pollinators. Many flowers have sticky hairs that keep ants out. Birds and bats. Some birds are pollinators. Birds are attracted to large red, orange, or purple flowers. The flowers hold a lot of nectar. The pollen is very sticky. It attaches to the feathers and beaks. The caption says about 2,000 species of birds are pollinators. Hummingbirds hover to drink nectar. Other birds perch. Some birds have sharp beaks and claws. Flowers pollinated by these birds must be strong. In tropical regions, birds pollinate food crops. These include banana, papaya, and nutmeg. Bats pollinate the flowers of more than 500 plant species. They are important to mangoes, avocados, cocoa, and others. Bats like large white and bell-shaped flowers. The blooms open only at night. They smell strong. Some bats have very long tongues. They can reach nectar at the bottom of flowers. The text box says, super stinky. Bats called flying foxes pollinate durian flowers. The durian is known as the world's smelliest fruit. Big pollinators. Lemurs are the world's largest pollinators. Some climb traveler trees in Madagascar. They open up a flower. Then they lick the nectar and pollen. Pollen gets onto their snout and fur. It hitches a ride to the next flower. The caption says, lemurs also eat fruit, leaves, seeds, barks, and sap from different trees. Other mammals are pollinators too. In South Africa, rodents pollinate sugarbush plants. The flowers smell like sour milk or cheese. The text box says, down under. Australia is a hot spot for mammal pollinators. Brush-tailed possums, sugar gliders, and bats pollinate many native trees and shrubs. Here we have a brush-tailed possum, a sugar glider, and a flying fox. Scientists have found that lizards can be pollinators. On some islands, geckos and skinks drink nectar from flowers. Pollen sticks to their scales. It gets passed from flower to flower. Here you will find definitions of any of the words that were in bold in the glossary. And if you want to learn more, you can take a look at the index to find out where to find more information. And you can do the extension activity or answer the text-dependent questions.